Hey guys, how are we doing? Just to let y'all know, I accidentally started the stream on the gaming one instead of the debate one when we first started here. So yeah, we're back over here. I'm gonna need to fix that later. It's gonna be like a 10-second stream you might see in your subscriptions. I'm still sending this thing around because I've just been irresponsible with my time today. But I hope you're all doing well out there and having a good weekend. Let's see here. I'm going on Twitter right now to cause some problems, as I usually do. Bronies, gather here to rant about random pony stuff. The show and tell us your thoughts. I'm with the gorgeous, I went to college, princess, wait a second. No, stop trying to tag that other person. I don't know that other person. I'm trying to tag Princess Petals Blossom. There we go. Haha. There we go,
Yes,
there we go, there we go.
Princess Petals Blossom. No, my potato!
What happened to your potato, Heather?
I dropped it, but like it fell on my plate.
Yeah, I did the same thing earlier. So, a little bit of backstory here. Because I was irresponsible with my time, I got to cooking dinner pretty dang late. And the result of that has been that the potatoes are not as thoroughly cooked as they probably should be. So they're kind of hard to eat. That's kind of embarrassing. Well, I don't know. Mine is, Sears was, it's a whole cluster screw. But, you know, I will give myself this. I've never just baked a potato before, right? But
yeah, you've always been very confused by the concept, and I've always been confused by that concept that you don't like, because my mom baked me potatoes all the time.
Yeah. So sorry for chewing into the microphone, guys. I'll make sure to mute myself. Now then, let's see here. Get back to what we're doing. Anyway, thanks to everybody who supports my ridiculousness, especially on the $10 and up tier, such as Heather, Shady, Autoknight, Emerald, Senko, DJ, Billy, Alden, Kanto, Alicia, StarChaser, VentureCorp, Willyzin, Icanus, Vulpecula, Jimmy, Joshi, Aventicus, Rusty, and Dark Malcontent. Now then, what do we have on the chopping block? First, Heather, let's see what we've got.
Well, Brawny, if you look at your DMs today, and also share your screen with me.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I haven't done that yet either. Man, I'm bad at my job today. Alrighty then. Now then, so the first one we've got. Can Fluttershy survive 24 hours being hunted down by the NBA?
Oh, no.
Who the frick? All right. I'm just going to take this one to the chat immediately. And don't forget, guys, there is a link at the top of the video's description here where you can join the on-air Brony Debates call-in Discord server. Let us know what you want to talk about in there. And if we find it interesting, we'll give you permission to come on the show. Just make sure you have a halfway decent microphone and a halfway decent internet connection. So,
now, I just gotta get my thoughts out there immediately. Brawny, we're dealing with a pony we've seen wrestle bears. And yes, each of these men would be very large and, like, apex predators. But what experience do these men have hunting? And buy, like, a small little pony flying horse that can take on bears. Like 24 hours, she can survive. Now, could she hunt them back? She wouldn't, but what if she did?
I don't know. I don't know anything about the NBA. Oh, you know who we need.
Like, Fluttershy also is great at camouflage. Remember when she disguised herself as a tree?
Yeah. Yeah, there's that. There are so many questions here. Who in the NBA? Does it matter, right? Is it like the current of this moment? NBA. I don't know what experience any of them have. I don't know anything about anything NBA related. I don't know anything about the terrain. I don't know. Okay, so you know what? Maybe all of this is clarified here. But
did they explain anything?
Let's just take a little scroll here and see what they say. Heather, do me a favor, please, and read that while I go summon somebody who might be able to help us with this.
I haven't slept in days and making memes till I fall asleep. I make silly stuff like these a lot, but just now post them. So here's a sneak peek and hope you all like. It's also a fun topic for you guys. Make some speculations and scenarios on what you would do. Have fun. Thank you, Guy. I'm glad this is what you do with your spare time. No, legitimately, I mean that. Oh, God. I dropped my little can topper. Don't know where it flew to. It went up my ass, I guess. Anyhow,
so that offered absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it turns out this person's just sleep deprived and has access to Photoshop.
God almighty, this is something I would do. What the frick?
And why don't you, Brawny? We would get so many clicks if you did this more often.
Because I'm trying to be taken seriously, at least to some degree.
Don't be taken seriously. Being taken seriously sucks. It gets you nowhere.
Nothing I've ever done has ever gotten me anywhere. Okay, so...
Stop being serious, then.
We're going to have to set the ground rules ourselves. Heather, does the NBA have weapons?
You know, they did not specify, so I'm guessing it's just their two hands and maybe some basketballs.
Okay. Are we allowing them to fasten weapons out in the field? Okay, so let me lay down a couple of assumptions for myself here. I'm going to assume we're in a meadow, a wilderness type of situation, right? We got trees, we got fields, we got grass. We might even have rocky terrain here and there, right? So just general wilderness, anything. And I'm going to assume it's current roster NBA, as in, today, May 30th, 2025, NBA. So I don't know anything about basketball, guys.
I'm just saying then that means we're getting like nice young men and not some other retired guys that might have let themselves go.
Yeah. And so peak athleticism here. Certainly probably some of the fastest sprinters we've got outside of like maybe the Olympics.
And Fluttershy can fly, but these guys can bound. And she's not a strong flyer at that.
So are they allowed to fasten weapons out in the field? What do you think about that?
I think sure, but that also means Fluttershy can do the same. And we've seen that, like, you don't remember that alternate universe where, like, Chrysalis is taking over and they're all in the woods and she had a fucking spear? I'm assuming she can do that if she needs to.
Trent is correcting me. Yes, it is May 31st. I'm an idiot. I don't know anything anymore, guys. I'm losing my freaking mind. Okay. Do basketballs even count as weapons? Okay. I gotta tell you guys something.
Totally. Have you been hit by one?
Nothing is a weapon until you use it as a weapon. The purpose of a weapon is to hurt somebody else. Right? So, my bare hands are a weapon. Your bare hands are a weapon, right? If I used a blade of grass to cause you to choke, that blade of grass was a weapon. If I chucked this 9-volt battery that happens to be sitting on my desk at your head, it's a weapon now. You might not typically think of, a 9-volt battery as a weapon, but that's, everything is a tool until you use it to hurt somebody else, and then it becomes a weapon, right? This candle makes my office smell really nice until I, pour the wax on you for whatever reason. I don't know what you did to make me want to do that, because I'm usually a peace-loving person, But that's certainly a different situation. But yeah, basketballs. You huck one of those things hard enough with the intent to hurt, it is now a weapon. So, are they armed with their basketballs? Are we...
I was gonna say, give them their basketballs. Bare hands and basketballs.
Alrighty then. Okay, so we got... so, are they fastening weapons? You know what, that would also depend on whether or not anybody in the NBA knows how to, like, bushcraft a weapon. You know,
Exactly.
Is anybody out there going to be able to find slate or obsidian or a shark tooth and then turn it into, you know, is anybody going to be able to find the right type of wood and file it down into fibers to make a bow and then use whatever rock and stick they found to make an arrow? Are they going to be able to aim that thing? These are things I don't know about the NBA and their players. Does anybody know how to camp? How long do they have? Oh, 24 hours. It says it right there. 24 hours being hunted down by the NBA. Oh, jeez. This freaking picture. The perspective on this guy here with his giant hand on a two-dimensional plane, but this picture was obviously taken from a top-down angle.
Oh my god.
Okay.
It's freaking wild. But I guess we have to like visualize she's in a piney forest. So that's obviously not like the freaking Everfree forest, but it's gonna be like a piney forest with tall grass. So lots of places to hide. It seems pretty flat from here, but what?
Here's another factor. Are there other animals present?
Well, of course, it's a forest.
Okay, so what do we got? Porcupines, deer, squirrels, rabbits, birds, perhaps even wolves and bears?
She would have eyes and ears everywhere.
She'd have backup too.
Totally. So now it becomes like Fluttershy versus the NBA and this army of animals. Now, the thing is just survive. They didn't say she had to beat him. They didn't say that they had to kill her, but like apparently they're out to kill her because it says survive. So the NBA is trying to kill her and she's just trying to stay alive. So that kind of simplifies it. I'm certain she could hide, and with having access to birds and stuff to keep an eye on the NBA guys, I think she could keep away.
Hold up, I'm changing the title of the stream.
Are we just gonna talk about this the whole time?
I don't know. I'm just changing the title of the stream right now. I don't know if I'll keep that, but it's kind of how I'm feeling right now. Okay, so you know something? I'm gonna go on a little bit of a stereotypical limb. Most basketball players I've met are not that bright and don't really have a whole lot of life skills outside of professional basketball. I've known a lot of very smart people that also enjoy playing basketball, but of the professional basketball players I've met, or college level even, it's literally all they know is basketball. So I'm good with that assumption, with that, you know, mile wide, broad paintbrush that I just stroked with. I'm going to assume these guys are not well versed in bushcraft and camping. And they're just going to be out in the wilderness with a pony who can fly, who can camouflage, who can talk to animals, who, you know, and let's consider this, Heather. Yeah, she quote wrestled that bear, but we know in retrospect that she was really just giving it a massage. Now, to Twilight, it looked like she was wrestling the bear and you know, looked like she snapped its neck and everything. But
Oh, that was badass.
yeah, but that was not with intent to hurt. Now, she did flip that thing over, and I imagine you still got to be very strong in order to crank a bear's neck and give it
Yeah, and
chiropractic treatment.
He seemed pretty grumpy and adverse to it. Like, he's like, no, I don't want a massage. Like, you know how animals are always like, oh, I don't want to take a bath. No, I don't want to have my fur brushed, but you still have to do it. So it looks like he was initially resisting.
Yeah. So even if somebody does get close, she's not incapable of fighting. We have seen her fight. And even if she gets overwhelmed by that, she's got backup. I think Fluttershy could survive 24 hours being hunted down by the NBA.
Hell yeah.
She's got other defensive mechanisms as well. The stare.
Oh yeah. I bet these guys would be like, oh man, I shouldn't be hunting down this cute little pony bitch. I'm so sorry.
Well, the stare.
And if any of them are Jack's Blade, they're just gonna fall in love with her.
Oh god, no, I don't. Well, firstly, Jack's Blade's not in the NBA. He doesn't count.
He could be.
Secondly, if Jack's Blade was the one hunting Fluttershy, she would survive, but she would just have some emotional scarring at the end of it. And then Discord's gonna like turn him inside out or something silly like that.
He's gonna do the little cipher thing where he's gonna switch the function of all his orifices.
Oh jeez. Oh, let's check the comments. She can fly. LeBron can fly too, you know. What are we doing like the what was it? It was like the DC Universe version of Super Smash Bros. That had LeBron James in it.
Oh my god.
The
LeBron.
Warner Brothers game Multiverses. What are we talking about? The Multiverses version of LeBron James, where he can game theory deduced that he could take on Mewtwo.
Oh my god, I forgot about that theory.
What if they throw balls at her?
Yeah, that might be something. Like, if they all ganged up at her at once with the balls, it'd be pretty tough, but will they get that opportunity?
Yeah, if they get that first volley off, yeah, Fluttershy's gonna be in a tough position. And then she's gonna need to call for backup. We're gonna need like squirrels and birds gouging out eyes. We're gonna need porcupines under feet. We're gonna need skunks peppering the area. We're gonna need bears and wolves and foxes just tackling people.
Damn.
Yeah, it's gonna turn out into an all-out war out in the forest. Everybody trying to get to Fluttershy. LeBron James gasses out in the third quarter. I don't know anything about basketball. I just heard that was the meme back in the day. Fluttershy is a pro buckball player. Yeah, there we go.
Finally, a legit question.
Yeah. Oh, Wayne Amethyst has a really interesting question we might get to later. He just says, Mr. Buck, can you please explain the line between a dedication to a perfection and an addiction to a perfection? Yes, I can. I will do it later, so please stay tuned to the stream. We're going to get through our topics for today, and then we'll tackle that. What else do the comments say? Finally learn to spell. How about that? Legit questions. LeBron will eat her alive. She's cooked. The GOAT of MLP versus the GOAT of the NBA. So we're just assuming she's just going up against LeBron here. At least that guy is. But no, nobody specified LeBron James. They just said the NBA. Let me do something real quick here. I'm going to, head over here and just, how many people I can type, currently play in the NBA. Okay. Google says the NBA typically has between 460 and 580 players during a season. So that might raise the question of how big is the wilderness that we're hunting Fluttershy in? What do you think, Heather?
We just don't know that. Like how big the forest is?
Yeah.
Well, we just don't know that. It looks pretty big right there.
This image is too perfect. Thank you for creating this work of art. Do you mind if I use it as a banner for my profiles? It's not related. Yes, enjoy my work. Okay, thank you for being cool about it, I guess.
So stupid.
Rusty, yes, that is the stipulation I gave, I believe, at the start of this. We're just gonna assume it's current day NBA roster, the entire thing. She can run fast and fly when needed, so she has a good chance of making it through. Not to mention her animal friends in Discord could help to protect her.
Yeah, I'm gonna say don't bring Discord into this, because of course she survives if Discord's there. No, we're just doing naturally your ability, so she can talk to animals. That's the only reason they're included.
I do not care if they are NBA players. I would help her however I can with this GIF. What is that, Heather? Is that Halo?
I don't think that's Halo. I mean, I don't recognize it. I thought it was Marvel.
I don't know what's going on. Let's see here. She was recruited for the Lakers a long time ago. I think she can fare well. Alrighty then.
Oh, yeah.
Let's move on. Thinking about how Starswirl didn't solve this problem, he moved it and then inflicted it onto the human world, and then someone else had to go and actually fix it years later.
Yeah, this is an interesting topic because if you think about it, yeah, that's how Starswirl and the freaking what did we call them?
Sirens.
No, not the sirens. The people who his friends. What the fuck did we call them?
The pillars.
Yeah, the pillars. The only thing that Starswirl and the pillars did would be send problems somewhere else. Like they did that with the sirens, and now the human world had to deal with that, which was incredibly irresponsible once you think about it. What they did to the Pony of Shadows was a little more responsible because they all just got banished to the void and weren't a problem to anyone. What they did with the sirens was just so incredibly irresponsible. It's like, oh, I can't deal with it in my world. Guess it's going to be this other world's problem. Like, sure, it helps your world. And I'm not going to say it's completely selfish because this is a whole world we're talking about, but that's kind of fucked up to inflict on a freaking entire freaking world the terrors of giant sea serpent ponies. Like, he didn't know they were going to transform into freaking harmless teenage girls when they got on the other side. He didn't know that. All he did was okay, they're going in the portal and they're not going to be my problem anymore.
Starswirl seemed to be the type that would know that before he did it, though.
Did he, though?
I don't know that he did, but everything else about his character in the show told me that he knew. He's the type of guy that would know exactly what he was doing.
Well, let's keep in mind that this, let me finish. Okay. Keep in mind, this retconned a comic, but we could still take from that Villains comic where they introduced the Sirens and how they even became a problem to Equestria and what Starswirl did about it. In that one, Starswirl still banishes them through a portal, but he said it was his last resort because he didn't know what else to do. He couldn't overcome their power, and he said, hopefully this world will have the power to overcome them, unlike that I did. So I would guess from that he didn't know they'd be significantly weakened when they were banished to that world. And we can assume that there's some correlation between what happened in the comics, his abilities there, and what was done here.
Something I'd like to add. Sorry, I had a mouthful of spaghetti. Something I'd like to add is Starswirl's not the only one to do that either. Remember Forgotten Friendship? And that whole problem got started because Wallflower Blush found Clover the Clever's memory erasing stone.
How did it get there? Did they ever talk about that?
It said Clover sent it over.
We know nothing about, like, why. Like, I'm not, because Clover the Clever is an incredibly unknown character. Like, we only know her name and a few things she did in the past. We don't even know what she looks like. Just that she, like, learned from Starswirl the Bearded and whatever.
We don't even know what gender Clover is, because Clover is mentioned.
We can assume woman because, yeah, because woman's like the default in this universe.
Yeah, well, Clover is mentioned in a few different things. Like she's mentioned in a book. She's mentioned in Hearthwarming Eve. She's mentioned in Forgotten Friendship, and she's mentioned, I think, in a comic or so. And there's been a couple of times where Clover is female, but I think in one of the comics, as well as Forgotten Friendship, they referred to Clover as male.
I don't know, but, like, let's put another thing in here, is that, like, do we know what she designed that thing for, and do we know that she put it there on purpose?
Oh, Gajillion says the stone belonged to an enchantress.
Okay, so it wasn't Clover the Clever. Where were we getting that from, then?
Well, we got it from Forgotten Friendship, where it said that Clover had put that stone in the human world.
Well, then why is Gajillion saying the stone belonged to Enchantress? And also, Gajillion said Enchantress was unspecified for her fate, but that stone was sent to the human world. Now, how do we know that wasn't another thing that Starswirl did?
Well, because it said in Forgotten Friendship that Clover did it.
Are you sure?
I'm like 99% sure. Let me blank the screen, and I'll see if I can pull this up.
Yeah, because, like, the thing about Forgotten Friendship is it was also very forgettable to me.
I loved that one. That was one of my favorites.
Wallflowers was stupid.
Let's see here. Oh, these are a couple of videos I'm interested in watching later. But let me see here. That would be Equestria Girls, Forgotten Friendship. Do they have the full movie on there? That'd be hilarious. Let's see here. Yeah,
well, one of the pony channels is bound to. Yeah, one of the pony channels. Paladin says Clover was a guy. Jury's still out on that. Oh, Honeydrop says Clover
promise is older than your canon age. No, my age is just...
Specifically tried not to activate that tab. All right, let's see here. I still don't know what I'm going to do about the frickin'...
Gojillion says Petals, go watch Forgotten Friendship. I've already watched it. It was forgettable. Anyways, put it on.
All right, I got it pulled up here. Are y'all ready for some copyright infringement?
We'll just skip to the part where they talk about it.
I will do my best.
Now let's go to the part where we talk about Clover's motivation being stupid.
That might be in
this
this scene.
Sure, her pony design is so cute. We didn't get to see enough of it. Look at those eyes. She looked like a little cute Cheeto.
I'm gonna take this opportunity to eat some spaghetti.
I don't hear anything.
Oh, you don't? Hang on a second. You should be able to hear it. Check your, I love that I stopped on this frame. That's gotta be a reaction image of some kind.
I see, show the camera.
Yeah, I should be sharing my computer, sound. Should be live there. I'm sharing sound here.
I don't... Play it again? Play it again?
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh! So many books.
I'm still not hearing anything. Let me redo it. Let me recast. Maybe I gotta recast.
Okay.
Let's,
Unread ancient historical artifacts!
Where can I not watch stream anymore?
I can't!
Options. Stream volume.
You sure you're up for helping me go through all this stuff?
Don't take this away from me!
I do not hear anything, Brawny. No. I do not.
God dang it! Where the heck is Emerald?
Like, I don't know why. I could not tell you why. Like, I hear your voice just fine. I have the volume up. I don't know. Put on closed captions or something.
Let me try to recast it.
Well, everyone in the chat says they can hear it. Like, were you not sharing your audio?
I should have been sharing my audio. It should have been just fine.
Well, we'll try again.
Oh, wait. Can you believe they have
I hear
Cannibal
nothing.
Cannibals I am 31? You
Alright,
heard
let me
me.
put on this
31.
closed captions.
Sunset. That's when it gets good.
God, I can't read.
Over here. The original Wendigo weather warning from the
They're so small.
Oh.
And why are they transparent?
I don't know, Heather.
You know what? I'm
Settings?
just gonna watch your stream.
Did you know Chancellor Puddinghead tried to pass a law mandating Earth ponies drink carrot juice at every meal? I do. Know that. No.
Well, I mean, they're good for your eyes
Sounds like
and skin.
There with the 7 trials of Clover the Clever. I found something.
All right.
You're familiar
I'm going
with
to
the
take
7
this
trials of Clover
opportunity
the
to eat some
Clever?
spaghetti while we watch some
Obviously.
ponies.
Why?
Well, first of all, these date back to before the founding of Equestria. Look at this.
The Memory Stone. That sounds promising.
It belonged to an evil sorceress who was practically invincible. With the Memory Stone, she could erase any memory from any pony, even fragments of memories.
Fragments, like memories of me being nice?
Mm-hmm. Clover the Clever knew the sorceress had to be stopped and the stone destroyed, so he chased her across land and sea. But every time he got close, the sorceress would erase his memory and
Yeah, there's us referring to Clover as male.
escape. But he kept finding her.
How?
These scraps of parchment, he secretly wrote everything down so he'd know what had happened and where to go next, like a trail of breadcrumbs.
Clever. Oh, Clover, yeah, got it. What happened on the other side of this portal?
The last page is missing. Clover must have hid it to keep any pony else from finding the Memory Stone.
Okay, so the Enchantress
Hold on.
went to the.
Hold on,
went
Brawny.
to
I'm
the
catching up
portal.
on the stream.
Okay. While Heather catches up on the stream, why don't you guys tell us about your weekend plans?
So, okay, I'm caught up now. So, okay, Clover the Clever is a guy, according to this one. I feel that contradicting. Well, again, because I'm thinking of like the winter, what did we call it? The Heartswarming story. They
Yeah, where
didn't
she
mention
was.
it being a guy, but then again, the main 6 were just playing all the roles, and I guess them being like a whatever society, they don't care if somebody who's not a guy plays a guy. I don't care. Anyways, that's not the important part. The important part is that part got ripped up, but we still don't know. It seemed like this was Clover the Clever's quest to stop this enchantress from whatever evil schemes they were doing, but we still don't know 100% like well, if Clover the Clever sent it that way, or the fact that Clover the Clever was like one of Star Swirl the Bearded's, like, you know, one of his students, and was still one of his students if we're going off of more of the Heartswarming tale, because Equestria was founded after that, and this was before the forming of Equestria, and even in then, Clover the Clever mentioned that, you know, Star Swirl was the teacher. We'd be remiss in not addressing the fact that he would still be under the direction of Star Swirl the Bearded. So essentially what I'm saying is Star Swirl probably told him to send it to the other worlds, and it's Star Swirl's fault again.
Well, they were saying there that Clover chased this Enchantress across the portal, and then they don't know what happened. So the Enchantress still had the Memory Stone.
Oh, so the Enchantress was basically was the one that brought it there.
Yes.
And maybe like Clover was just like, shit, I guess I'll just leave it here because I can't, I don't know what happened. We don't know what happened.
Yeah.
So I guess that's just kind of like nobody's fault other than the Enchantress, I guess.
Let me double check over here and see if they talked about that missing page later on. That kind of looked like it for a second there.
Nah, that's just homework. Yeah, we're just going into Wallflower Blush shit. Like, I could forgive Wallflower Blush for a lot because she's a stupid teenage girl, but like, I still thought this was all stupid.
No, they never brought that back up again.
Also,
Yep.
get a better sweater. It's too hot for a sweater. Why are you wearing that? You're wearing it for attention, and it sucks.
I call this little
mom-looking
number.
ass.
I call this little number striped sweater. The best time to wear a striped sweater is all the time.
I was
One
freaking
with
like
the collar. Frickin'. That's not a turtleneck. The
yeah,
song's supposed to be about a turtleneck. Why aren't you wearing
She's
the
like a
turtleneck
very
when I
good-
need you to wear a turtleneck?
Who's the guy that took over Blue's Clues after Steve?
Frick, I don't know.
I think his name was Kevin or something. She looks like that guy, but depressed and a woman.
Alrighty then.
Wolf
Let's
Car
see here.
Blush.
Oh, this says,
He's like, I don't know why people...
Yep.
Go ahead.
I guess he either hoped the other dimension wouldn't be inhabited or that the sirens would be in powerless forms there, but yeah, not exactly responsible. Once we did meet Star Swirl in the actual show, we did sort of like get the idea that he usually knows what he's doing, and he's always doing the best he can, but he doesn't always like have the best plans. Or he's,
And
or
he's
at
like
the very least,
sometimes
he's very
oblivious.
willing to, yeah, at the very least, he's willing to make sacrifices that, like, Twilight
Yeah.
probably wouldn't make.
Yeah, remember when he went to Friendship University and totally didn't know that these guys were con men?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, what else we got in here? Not to defend it, but he was almost right. It's implied that the sirens were just immortal teenagers with a tiny shred of persuasion power before Twilight breached a hole into the Equestria Girls' dimension and restored their connection to equestrian magic. 2 replies. They did still have the argument gas and fed off of it. Honestly, the whole equestrian magic thing confuses me. I need to rewatch Rainbow Rocks because I don't remember them doing much differently than they were already doing in that diner at the start of... Yeah, they just,
I thought the objective was for them to start feeding off of the main 6 once they started fighting, because that seemed to be the bigger, like, a big source of energy for them. Like, because, like, the main 6 in that world were the ones that were in touch with equestrian magic when they started playing music, and, like, their goal there was to drain them, and that's why, like I don't know if they planned for what Trixie did, like, you know, like, trapping them downstairs under the stage, but, yeah, I guess that was what my assumption was, is that they just wanted to feed off the particular creatures that were giving off equestrian magic.
The way I'm remembering it, it was like they knew that the equestrian magic was at the school, so they went to the school to try to start the Battle of the Bands and be able to siphon all of it. And they got a lot of got a lot out of it, yeah.
I was gonna ask, can you put another tab, whatever that Sombra post is on the right? Like, I don't even know, like, what's going on in it.
In what scenario could this situation happen?
What's in the picture?
It's Sombra and Twilight just kinda scheming together, I guess.
Yeah, Twilight looks pissed to be here, and he's just like, yeah, I'm doing this thing, and she's just like, God damn it, I hate
You
this
know what's
guy."
sad, Heather, is this is somebody's ship.
I can see it.
Now then, going back here. Okay, I don't really have any major disagreements with this.
Argument gas. As opposed to laughing gas, this is just rage gas.
Yeah. Well, that was them, like, feeding off of that emotion. It was, you know, there's just sort of a visual representation of the emotion that they were generating.
Like, could it not look like fart gas, though?
I don't frickin' know. And of course, if you didn't listen to them, you couldn't be affected by them. All right.
You know what was the thing though? Like, if the green gas was visual or like had a pungent odor, maybe the reason they even had that persuasion is that everyone was arguing over who farted. But it was them the whole time.
All right, let's see what we got here.
Oh, good.
In what scenario does this situation happen?
Yeah, we're like, and he's in the throne for the element of magic. So, like, I guess in this scenario, she's his #1 assistant. Because she's sitting where Spike would sit, and he's sitting where she would sit.
Celestia. Sorry, Twilight, but we've signed a treaty with the Crystal Empire. Since Sombra has seized... That's not how you spell seized. His evil activities... or ceased? His evil activities, that's not how you spell either of those words.
Dude, people in this subreddit do not know how to spell. I passed something that says, what is something you, and all caps said, something that you would have, like they phrased it really weird and used like the wrong past tense. Like they used past tense when they meant to use like present tense. It's just weird. No one knows how to write here. Or talk, probably. I bet they talk like that.
He is now allowed to enter even the most sacred areas of our territory without repercussions. In other words, he'll be staying in your castle. Alrighty then. If Sombra was reformed like how Starlight was. Oh, that's way the frick too much reading.
Yeah, at least break it up, woman. Or man. Whatever.
My first thought was that they had gotten married for political reasons.
Oh, that does suck. I think she'd be a little more
there's
than
your enemies to lovers plot, though, Heather. Like, what if they, you know, were forced to get married for political reasons and then they grow on each other?
I prefer to do that with Thorix, who's a more deserving man. Like, he's not an enemy, but there is a few fanfics that I've tabbed because I want to read them, and one of them is, like, the exploration of, like, oh, Twilight, like, Celestia asked Twilight, can you please marry Thorax for political reasons so we can cement our alliance with the Changelings?
Yeah, but Thorax isn't a villain, he's just gay. It's different.
That's what makes the whole thing difficult, Brawny, and Twilight's ace, and they gotta figure out this relationship and produce an heir. What will happen next?
Oh, jeez. Yeah, they end up turning each other straight. Frick.
That's not how it works.
Let's see here. Maybe if they had to team up to fight against a bigger enemy. Oh, man, who the frick is bigger than Sombra?
That's a believable one.
Yeah, I could buy that too,
Rogar?
But who's bigger than Sombra? Well, maybe. Rats, I just had to rant about friendship.
Yeah, you converted him. Great.
That could actually happen in one of my AUs. Moving on.
Now we're good with that.
If the writers weren't annoying and didn't kill him again, and instead they try to reform Sombra, and this scene is Sombra moving through his old ways of taking the big castle for his own while under the guise of friendship lessons. Yeah, so what if we had like a keep calm and flutter on situation, but with Twilight and Sombra?
What I'm trying to think, because like there was a reason Celestia said, like, really put it toward Fluttershy, be like, hey, I think your kindness can really soften him up, because she realized that's what Discord was lacking. Like, he didn't really experience true kindness before. What is something that Sombra had not experienced before that would really turn him over? Because, like, I don't think it would be kindness. I'm not sure. If we're kind of going off the backstory they gave us, and just, like, the other part doesn't happen, where, like, we get an old friend come back. I mean, he's obviously experienced friendship, doesn't trust it. Would it be kindness that would help? What would be the thing that converts this guy?
I don't know, because he was just
like
a prick.
What converts him in the sequel comic where he comes back?
His old friend, I
guess. Well, they obviously didn't go with that continuity in the My Little Pony show canon, because he does come back in that one, and he's just kind of like, I'm gonna take over Equestria again, fuck y'all. And he's kind of a dick. Like, obviously being kind, he wouldn't respect Fluttershy, just walk all over her. Obviously Applejack and Rainbow Dash are too combative and would just fight him. I kinda am veering toward Pinkie Pie or Rarity being the ones. Like, maybe I mean, I don't know, he could take advantage of her generosity, but laughter, you can't exactly steal laughs. So maybe like the pony that would obviously grind his gears the most, but get him to experience true happiness would be the person that would help convert him.
It would be the person that he can't manipulate. So who, like you said, Applejack and Rainbow Dash are too combative. They wouldn't. So they have insecurities, and that's, if you remember, Sombra's main power is he plays on people's deep-seated psychological fears. He is depression manifest. So he could possibly get Rainbow Dash and Applejack to obviously focus on their families, but failing that, it's going to be a physical fight with them. And a lot of that, and that's going to be a problem. Rarity is probably one of the more confident and assured in herself. So is Pinkie Pie. And especially with how chaotic she is, and how she, like, laughter turns fear on its head. Like it's very hard to be to be afraid of something when you are choosing to laugh at it, and that's the whole purpose of laughter as an element of harmony. So Pinkie would probably have a really good chance of being able to counter Sombra. Fluttershy, definitely not. Like,
yeah, Fluttershy is not the one for this.
I will crack ship Sombra Shy all day. But I know that like Fluttershy would not be able to redeem Sombra. So that would leave Twilight, who is also pretty confident and self-assured and probably knows how to counter a lot of his magic. So I think it would come down to either Pinkie or Rarity.
Yeah. And I guess maybe I'm more biased toward Pinkie being able to do it. Like, I love my girl Rarity, but like, I feel like Sombra could put her under a lot of stress, and we see how like she's good at venting and eventually coming around to dealing with her stress. But I think like Pinkie Pie could just take it a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know. I kind of like the idea of these two needing to team up to fight somebody.
Yeah, that's good too.
Yeah. I don't know if it would have been the Changelings. Like, let's say the Changelings never redeemed. Because there was a period of time where the Umbrum were taking over the Crystal Empire when Chrysalis rolled up to try to take over the Crystal Empire, saw the Umbrum, and went, nah, forget that, and turned around and went away.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, so Chrysalis does not want any smoke from Sombra. I'm pretty sure Sombra is 10 times the tactician that Chrysalis is, and just Chrysalis's tricks are probably not going to work on him because he's just as capable at manipulation and mind games, if not more so. And he's got a much more well-organized and aggressive army.
You know who, like, this brings another thing to my mind, because, like, okay, I think Pinkie Pie's the one that, like, because if we could say the main six get to redeem a villain each, Fluttershy already redeemed Discord, Pinkie Pie got Sombra, I think Rarity should redeem Chrysalis. Like, maybe that's the key, because the whole thing about Changelings is they're taking love. They take, and take. And Thorax and Starlight didn't get through to her, but Rarity, the element of generosity, could have her generosity put to the limits of being generous to this one Changeling. And Chrysalis being like, you're such a fool. Why do you keep taking it? And then, like, when Rarity gives so much, eventually coming around to feeling guilt, because Rarity, like, just keeps giving, and that's the whole thing of generosity, is that you expect nothing back and you're okay with giving it.
I disagree, and I'll tell you why. There's a very wise saying that goes something along the lines of givers must beware of how much they give out, because givers have limits and takers do not.
Wait, that'd be the thing, because remember, like, when Fluttershy in Discord's moment, he's like, "Ha, you won't do anything because we're friends," and the thing that made him switch over is that she goes like, "Well, I'm not your friend anymore. You don't get any more of my kindness." And that was the thing. And that could be what thing is that Rarity says, like, "I may be the element of generosity, but I'm cutting you off." And Chrysalis realizes that she's come to rely on that generosity and valued it more than she did prior. So if anything, I think you made an argument in my favor. I think that's what do it, is that Rarity would keep giving, but then she wouldn't give anymore, and Chrysalis would see the value in what she was given and how beautiful it is to be that generous.
Just an experience in life. I promise you, I have not made an argument in that favor. Chrysalis, if Chrysalis felt like she was losing something she valued and was significant about that, she would lash out on Rarity so hard and just ruin Rarity's life, if not outright kill her. I am
Well, to be
I am
no,
certain
like
beyond a shadow of a doubt that like Chrysalis, if anything, is the counter to Rarity's generosity. It would not work this, like Pinkie Pie's laughter is the counter to Sombra's depression, because that's how laughter works. But selfishness is the counter to generosity. Like, I've never seen somebody be able to out generous a narcissist like Chrysalis. It's impossible.
Well, you gotta keep in mind, this is the world of MLP. This is gonna be a little unrealistic, but what if the thing that, like, Rarity cut off would be something that isn't something you can take, like, say, quality time with Rarity, conversation with Rarity, something that isn't tangible. And if Chrysalis couldn't get that, and she realizes, I need to change my ways to get what I had back, that would be the thing. The thing she'd have to do would be to return the love that she and attention and all that she was getting, and that was when she'd have her big transformation, like Thorax and Pharynx did.
Yeah, but she's a narcissistic psychopath, so she doesn't have the capacity for that, and she's done it 1,000 times throughout history already to other people with way more to give than Rarity has. Like, yeah, Rarity is very wealthy and very successful. Chrysalis has toppled empires by just by seducing one person.
This is, again, hypothetical. We've obviously cemented Chrysalis in her place in the series, but I still think it's a good chance. And this is also in the scenario of, like, what if every member of the main six, like, reformed one big villain? Chrysalis would be Rarity's villain.
Maybe she would, but I think she'd lose. I don't think there's a way for.
You just have no faith in my girl. You have no faith in my girl. You don't know how strong she is. She's a strong, independent woman.
At length on this show about Rarity's qualities. The only reason I ever say anything bad about Rarity is to get under your skin specifically, Heather. I genuinely don't think
you're disagreeing with me.
No, I'm being totally for real right now. There's no way Rarity would be able to reform Chrysalis. I don't think there's anybody that can.
Honestly, I could see
ways to redeem Tyrek. I could see ways to redeem Cozy Glow. I could see ways to redeem the Flim Flam brothers, and they were the second worst timeline. I cannot fathom in my brain a way to redeem Chrysalis.
I'm sure it's been explored in a satisfactory fanfiction, and if it hasn't, I will write it, and then you will cry. But hey, on this question of, like, if each of the main six had to reform one villain, like, obviously Fluttershy got her Discord, and I think I established that Pinkie Pie makes a strong case for Sombra, Rarity makes a strong case for Chrysalis. Who do you think, like, Rainbow Dash, Applejack, would and Twilight Sparkle, who would they be reforming specifically? I guess, like, Twilight already did Starlight, but, like, come on, get her a better one.
I'm not sure off the top of my head, but that might make a very good, like, continuance question. So, guys, let's put a pin in this one. And we'll see if we can get some other bronies on the show. Maybe we'll do this next week if we can remember. And if I can get any time to set it up.
I'll DM it to you.
Yeah, so we'll because I do think this is a fascinating topic, and we could probably get some more opinions on whether or not Rarity would be able to reform Chrysalis, and maybe somebody else has a point that I'm missing. Before I wrap up the stream though, let's check the chat real quick. Let's see here. As earlier, Rusty had said, Brawny, what are your thoughts on a headcanon that when Sombra blew up the first time, those fragments gained their own consciousness and became a version of Sombra? I think... Here's the thing about headcanons is I really only just kind of default to canon as to whether or not a headcanon is actually valid. And I feel like if Sombra's fragments had become versions of himself, that there's a decent chance we would have had some kind of mention of that in the show, right? Now, granted, the show kind of rushed its ending a little bit with Sombra, but I don't think there's any sort of evidence or clue or anything that something like that was possible with Sombra. Let's see. Gojillian wanted to know who should reform Tyrek.
Yeah, that's a good question. Now, what is Tyrek's, what is his deadly sin? What is his fatal thing? What is it?
He just likes power.
So, but really, what? You know what, Applejack? Because his, the big thing that turned him to what he is a bad relationship with his father, and he obviously lost contact with his brother. And though Applejack's the element of honesty, I think she also has a strong case in that she is someone who is very informed on familial relationships and how to heal a broken family. Because let's not forget, pretty much confirmed that, both her parents are gone. And, even if there was, she'd be like, you really need to, see if you can mend things with your family, because obviously you're the toxic element, because then you don't want a bridge burned that you can never rebuild again, because there's no chance I am ever getting my family back the way it was, but I value who's here.
Yeah.
I think if she could teach him the value of family and helped him mend the bridges between him and his father and his mother and his brother, that I actually think Applejack would make a strong case for Tyrek.
That's interesting. Let's put a pin on it, and we'll revisit it next week, and maybe we'll see if we can answer the question. So now you all out there in the audience know exactly, what to look forward to next week, so long as I, actually have the time and energy to try to set this up. But I think this is a fascinating topic, and we've got some other topics pinned in our Reddit tab for later. So thanks to everybody who tuned in. Oh, frick, I almost forgot. Wayne Amethyst had a question as well earlier. He said, Mr. Buck, can you please explain the line between dedication to perfection and an addiction to a perfection? Okay, so being dedicated to perfection means you are always looking for how to improve. Addiction is a degenerative disease where you can never satisfy the sensation, right, or the need for whatever it is you are addicted to. And so if somebody is addicted to trying to achieve perfection, what that might look like is that they're going to lose functionality in other aspects of their life, probably all other aspects of their life, in pursuit of whatever their ideal of perfection is, but they're never going to be able to reach that state where they believe that they've reached perfection. And even if they do, it's not going to last very long. And the way that addiction works is you get what you wanted, you get that dopamine rush, and then it wears off, and then it takes more to have even a lesser effect of that dopamine rush, which, and the cycle of that dopamine in your brain is what causes the addiction. Now, genetically and psychologically, genetically, there's people that are more vulnerable to it than others. There are genetic factors to addiction. But there's also psychological it factors to addiction. Like for example, like if you were in an abusive relationship of any kind, really, but especially in formative developing years, you're going to be more likely to develop an addictive personality because that type of stress that gets put on your brain will cause failures basically in the thought processes of your brain, and that failure is going to be along the lines of whatever is weakest, and then whatever vice is available to cause that dopamine feedback is going to be what likely triggers the addiction or helps develop the addiction. But the person who's dedicated to perfection sort of understands that perfection isn't really a thing, but they do understand that they can always get better. So they're going to take their time to practice whatever they're doing. They're going to get better. They're going to, rest and recover. They're going to reevaluate, and they're going to see what they can do next. And they're just going to keep doing that. And they're going to be perfectly at peace with themselves as long as they are improving. So I hope that rant helped explain the difference between dedication to perfection and addiction to perfection. So with that, thanks to everybody who tuned in. In a few minutes, I'm going to play some Ponyvania. Hopefully I can fix that live stream that I screwed up earlier. Hopefully I can finish this dinner that I cooked for myself that has gone cold on my desk while we've been talking. And we will see you all in a few minutes right back here. So thanks everybody who supports, especially on the $10 and up tier, such as Heather, Shady, Autoknight, Emerald, Senko, DJ, Billy, Alden, Kanto, Alicia, StarChaser, VentureCorp, Willyzin, Icanus, Vulpecula, Jimmy, Yoshi, Aventicus, Rusty, and Dark Malcontent. Check out all those links in the description. Stay safe. God bless. We'll see you in a few minutes. Say goodnight, Heather.